It's been a while. Feels like it's been a long time since I've been in the garage. Well, got some orders in. Ugh, some old coffee. Let's get to it. While I get some work done, we could just chit chat on what's going on in the world. What's going on? Let's see. Um, I guess I want to talk about. I saw yesterday that they had a Vogue magazine cover, and I I obviously don't read Vogue magazine, but what I thought it was interesting about the Vogue magazine was they had a part in there that was a full-on AI model, right? And I guess they're getting some backlash over the use of the AI model, and it's like a standard cover of Vogue spread where it was like they had a blonde girl, she was in the Vogue cover, and I guess that you guys can Google it. I'm in the garage, and I guess that was a full-on AI generated image with a model, and it got me thinking. This is right now. They are starting this already. Just think about where this is going, right? Soon, all those all those models, they're gonna be gone. They're gonna be gone. That's crazy. That's a whole industry that just got zooped right out. So hottie bodies. I mean, think about it. It's so much cheaper for the magazines to have the AI generated models because you don't have to pay a photographer, you don't have to pay a lighting guy, you don't have to pay the talent. You don't have to pay travel. You could just generate all kinds of photo shoots now. And so yeah, I saw that Vogue uh cover, and I was like, this is a huge issue for the ladies. And it got me thinking about my cousin. So when my cousin was in school, she thought that she was the baddest girl, the hottie body of the school. And what does any girl that's her age, this, I think she was like in middle school, beginning of high school during this time. And what is the dream of most girls that are hottie bodies at that age? She wanted to be a model. Like you get it, she thought she was the hottest girl in her the small fishbowl of high school, and she's like, I'm the hottest girl here. The world needs to see how hot I am, or whatever, how pretty I am, and she wanted to be a model, and she tried so hard. I don't know. I'm not her. I don't know. I can't say that she tried real hard, but this is back in early 2000s, and modeling was still a thing. This is early 2000s is like the high. I want to say that's the high point of Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret Angels is early 2000s or late 90s. I'm not sure, but like that's this time, right? And so like her dream was to be a Victoria's Secret model, you know. And I was thinking to myself, like, she's not bad looking, but she's not that good looking. And so she tried so hard, and it got to the point where this was where a lot of girls, they at least back then, um they like cruise the mall, to maybe like maybe some like modeling agency person. Like you hear those stories. I forget who, but there's a story like that somewhere. One of those big model names, where she was just cruising the mall, and some modeling agency agent guy, saw her and be like, "You're gonna be a star," and like offered her a modeling contract or whatever. So that's what she decided to do. Like, oh, I mean, not decided. That's what her plan was. And so she was with her dad, and they were at the mall, and it happened. Like it happened. Some guy came up to her and their family and like, hey, I think your daughter here has the look. You know, she ever thought about modeling? And like you gotta play it cool. She's like, yeah, I I think I have got what it takes to be a model, right? And then her dad's a little skeptical, and they like this is her daughter's dream, and the mom's totally on board. The mom's like a trophy wife, I want to say. So this is like totally up her alley, And she's like, yeah, sounds like a great idea. Let's be like, you always wanted to become a model. You're not bad looking, and so like they sign on with this random model agency that from a guy that they met at the mall, basically, right? And and then they like I was having like a dinner with their family one day, and I was like, hey, and then they told me the news, like, hey, blah blah blah, she just got a modeling agent. She's gonna become a model, right? And I was like, what, really? Because I've heard, like she's been talking about this for forever now, that's what she wanted to do. Because around middle school or so, that's when you start, uh, thinking about what you want to do in your life, right? And usually, hottie bodies that don't have a lot of talent, that's what they aspire to. They aspire to become a model. Oh my god! And so, but I was like, oh, so tell me more about it, right? So, oh no, the tape messed this one up. Oh, I hope I can save it. I don't want to recut this whole thing. All right. All right. We need this T. Hopefully I can save it. Or else I'm going to have to recut this whole thing. Hold on. Ugh. If you guys don't know what I'm doing, I have these sheets of vinyl and I got to take out the print from these sheets. And sometimes they get stuck together. All right, let's put this one back in. Oh, anyways, where were we? Oh, yeah. Okay. So I was like, oh, yeah, can you tell me more about it? Like, what happened? So they told me the whole story, that they were just like at the mall and they ran into some guy, and they were like, the guy thinks that she's got what it takes to become a model, gave us the card, we called, and we signed on. I was like, oh, that's cool, right? And then they told me about all these fees that they have to pay, and I was like, wait, what? What fees? What are you talking about? They're like, yeah, well, she's got to take modeling classes, right? And she's got to go to these casting things, and she needs headshots, she needs this, and she needs that. And I was like, this sounds like a scam, right? I was like, and then they told me that they said it was like $2,000 for this agency or this modeling company to do this. And I was like, this sounds like a scam. And then they're like, oh, and they're not like scrapping by for cash. They have money, so they're like, oh, $2,000 is not that much. We'll just think about it. If this goes somewhere, the $2,000 that we spend, it's not that much. So they're like, yeah, let's just do it. It's been her dream for a while, and secretly, I'm pretty sure the dad knows that the daughter doesn't have any talent. Like she doesn't have anything going for her, realistically. So he's probably thinking, I pay the $2,000, maybe she'll become something, right? And then so fast forward, right? She goes to it's like a modeling competition thing where the girl, like a pageant, almost like a pageant, right? She goes to the pageant, and they doll her up, and then they slap a number on her, and they make her do the model walk, right? And then she doesn't get picked up. Like basically they do this so other agencies can see her and they can book her for some kind of modeling gig. She doesn't land anything, and I was in my head. I was like, well, I know that because she may think she's like a hottie body, but in the real world, she's like a, like in high school, there's like a girl that you think that's like hot, and then because like you're in a small fishbowl of people, and you're like that girl's like the hottest girl in school, and then once you like go to college or your world opens up, and you're like, man, remember that girl's, whatever her name is, she was so hot, and now you like see the world, and you're like, she's not that hot. It, and I was thinking about that the whole time with her. I was just like, she's not that pretty. Like she may, in her world, she may think that she's the baddest girl around, but like in the world, she's nothing. We're talking about just regular modeling, right? Is that the model is whatever, like you're there to be like a coat rack for a jacket or whatever. So your look is whatever, right? Because I think she was like under the impression that she's a solid. I would say she's like a 7, right? And she's thinking like, I'm way prettier than all these other girls that have these modeling gigs. Like sometimes you go through the magazine, and you're like, I'm prettier than this girl. How does she a model and I'm not a model? That's probably what she was thinking, right? And I was like, well, these girls are coat racks, you know. They're not there to take away from the clothes. Anyways, me seeing this new thing with AI replacing models with just generated pictures, I'm like that whole uh path, I guess, like you're you're just some girl with no real talent besides being a hottie body, and you get discovered by a modeling agency or whatever, and then you just make it somewhere. Like that whole path just evaporated overnight because of AI. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. The whole path is just gone. This whole story will never happen again. Like, do you guys hear? Oh, I'm trying to remember the model. Was it Coco? Was it Coco? Like, there was a big model like that got discovered exactly how I described it, where she was just walking the mall, and they saw her, and then they're like, you have the look, which I think in today's climate is super creepy to think about. Like just think about like 90s or 2000s, like how they selected models back then. That's crazy. Think about it. Like they're just cruising along in the mall, and then some guy comes up to you and just like, "Hey, you have the look. Come with me. You're gonna be a model." Like that's crazy. And especially now with with all the Epstein stuff. I mean, what's crazy about the Epstein stuff? Not that Westner. Like I feel like he needs a bigger deep dive, because like he, he's still around. Like no one talks about the Les Westner's guy, the Victoria's Secret guy. Like maybe that is what Victoria's Secret is. Victoria's Secret is Epstein. I don't know. Like nobody talks about him. That's a kind of curious thing. Why are more people curious about Les? Like he's still around, right? I mean, he's old, like 80 gajillion years old, but still, he's still around. He's one of also the people that could have like the inside road into Epstein's Epstein's like life, because without Lex Westner, there would be no Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know. All right, the first one's done. This one. Oh, that one needs to be fixed. What is this? Okay. Gotta weave. We gotta weave. What else is going on in the world? Oh, you know what else is going on? Um, so I was at the gym, and you know what? At the side of the gym, they have the area where they sell all the drinks and whatnot. They have they sell like Gatorade, they sell like Powerade and stuff at the side of the gym. They have those coolers and whatnot. And so I'm walking by, and then I saw that and I saw this thing about how Prime is going downhill. Like people aren't buying Prime anymore. And then so I got curious, so I went over to take a look because I remember Prime being in there, like like in their thing, and I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy." There's no more Prime in the at the gym, and I was like, "Interesting." So then I went home and did some digging, and I guess Prime is on its way down, like crazy, crazy. And if you guys don't know what Prime is, that's the drink from Logan Paul and KSI. And I saw somewhere that says that sales for Prime is like down 90% or something like that. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy because at one point in time, Prime became like a rival of Gatorade. It was gonna be. It felt like it was on path to be the Gatorade of the next generation, and now they are on the brink of annihilation, right? And I was like, whoa, that's crazy because I remember before at the gym, um, I remember I was at the gym, and I remember like just a few months earlier, that whole shelf area was filled with Prime. And like, do you remember like I saw people were buying Prime and flipping it for like 300% markup? Sorry, I gotta recut that one that got messed up, so bear with me with the bad angles and everything. But we'll be back. We'll be back. Boop, boop, boop. But yeah, I remember like they were selling Prime like crazy, and now Prime is on its deathbed, it seems like. And this is all because of Logan Paul's, I guess, the scammy nature, because the internet is starting to really turn on Logan Paul. I don't, and I never understood the appeal of Logan Paul because it seems like, or maybe I'm just from a different generation because I don't understand. It seemed like he was a scumbag all the time, you know, like a babyface, sweet scumbag, and he picked a battle with the wrong guy. There are two people on the internet that you don't pick a battle with. That is CoffeeZilla and Candace Owen. You know, it'd be crazy if CoffeeZilla and Candace Owen ever like combine their powers. If CoffeeZilla and Candace Owen can combine their powers, they can they'll find the Epstein files for sure. That maybe that's what we need to get the Epstein files. A Candace Owen CoffeeZilla collab because those are some people on the internet that you just don't want to mess with, and CoffeeZilla is just one of those people. So you don't know what is going on with Logan Paul and CoffeeZilla. They have been engaged in a lawsuit for a while now, and this all stems from, I guess, Logan Paul had a crypto scheme with the what was it? It's like zoo coins or something like that. It's supposed to be like a Pokemon inspired crypto coin where you can collect zoo animals, right? And then you can supposedly make money. Logan Paul sold those or promoted them. I'm gonna throw out some allegedly supposedly's in there, so just to make sure cover all the bases. Allegedly supposedly, I don't want Logan Paul to come after me. I'm a guy in my garage, okay, and it that people are accusing him of basically promoting a inferior product and rug pull because he made millions while allegedly supposedly a bunch of people lost their life savings putting money into the Zootopia, whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called, the Zoo Coin or whatever. And then CoffeeZilla made a video about it, and then Logan Paul went after him and sued him. And in this law, the lawsuit that Logan Paul did was the mistake because the lawsuit opened him up to discovery, and then a bunch of stuff started to come out about bad business, bad faith, whatever, text messages and all kinds of stuff is starting to come out. And then it shows Logan Paul's plan during the lawsuit was basically just to bleed CoffeeZilla dry, or anybody that challenged him, bleed him dry, use his money to kind of throw them around. And CoffeeZilla is, I don't think he's as rich as Logan Paul. Stood his ground, which I don't think Logan Paul expected. I mean, I saw this one shady thing that Logan Paul is doing. So the people that put money into this Zoot coin are all over the world, all over. And I saw this thing. It was that there were some witnesses that were coming out. They were gonna help CoffeeZilla. They're gonna be, testifying. And they're in. I'm trying to remember exactly. I know I think one's in New Zealand and one's in another country that's pretty far away, right? Like thousands and thousands of miles away. Not in America, far away. And they need to put in their testimony, right? Because they're testifying to help CoffeeZilla fight Logan Paul, and they gotta put in their testimony. Well, one of the shady things Logan Paul did is that they're supposed to do the testimony remote, because they're far away. They're not in America or whatever, and it's not uncommon to have remote testimony in this scenario, right? It doesn't really matter because you just need you just need to hear their story. So what does it matter if they're here or not? Well, so they want to do their testimony remote, and Logan Paul is trying to block them from doing a remote testimony and having them, you have to fly to America to do their testimony. And then, these guys already lost their life savings. It's like, I think the New Zealand guy or one of them, it's like $500,000 he put into this Zoo coin or whatever, right? $500,000. Okay, if you're putting that much money into a crypto coin that no one's heard of, please rethink your life decisions. That's what I have to say about that, because that's insane. But anyways, he's trying to force them to come here to do their testimony, and that's travel, right? Time off work, hotel, like all kinds of stuff, like just traveling just to do something that they could have done remote, but he's trying to force them to come here to do it. It's crazy. So that's the Logan Paul situation. Candace Owen, the other person I mentioned earlier that you don't want to mess with on the internet, is currently fighting a battle with the French Prime Minister's wife. She allegedly, supposedly, has been accusing the French Prime Minister's wife of being a man, Brigitte Macron, the one that was that went viral a few weeks ago. Is it weeks or months? I forget. The news moves so fast. You don't have time to kind of react to anything. Oh my gosh, where'd it go? Oh, here it is. All right, let's do this one first before I jack this up. All right, the news moves so fast. You don't have time to digest anything. But she's the one that there's that fun footage of the French Prime Minister at the airport, and the guy opened the door too early. The helper guy, he opened the door too early, and then we see a right. She slaps him, and that was a super embarrassing moment. You know, like that went viral like crazy. But anyways, Candace Owens is accusing the French Prime Minister's wife, of being a man, and I guess she's done a multi series, like multi episodes of her podcast show about the French Prime Minister's wife being a man. She's done multiple episodes with this storyline, and they're suing her for defamation now. Like they had enough of her accusing her of being a man. And you know, usually if you get sued by a high-ranking government official like that, you kind of like back down. Well, Candace Owens decided to stand her ground, and she's gonna be fighting the French Prime Minister, the French government, basically. Candace Owens is gonna be fighting the French government because she accused the French Prime Minister's wife of being a man. And yesterday, if you have time, check it out. I mean, it's crazy. She laid into the just the French government in general. She posted a video talking about the lead. I guess I want to say that the lead person that's handling the case, the French, you want to say top attorney general. That, I mean, if you had to translate what he is in France, he would be their Pam Bondi, I guess, right? The French version of Pam Bondi. And she allegedly, supposedly accused him of supporting incest, of supporting people that like girls of a younger age, you know, like, so she like dug into like his case history. She found like an old case that he worked on where the guy supposedly, allegedly, I believe she said like he was an engineer that made lots of money. The wife had a big spending budget. It was, you know, like one of those families, like trophy wife style families. And you know, the wife has big spending budget. It's all good as long as the husband could do whatever he wants to do. And supposedly what he wanted to do was have relationship with their daughter. And he ends up having a child. Supposedly, allegedly, throw that out there, because I mean, I'm hearing the story from Candace Owens. They end up keeping the baby, so in a way, he is his own. He is his grandson's own father, like that, that whole scenario. And Candace Owens is accusing the lawyer, the French Attorney General, the French Pam Bondi, of, you know, supporting that because he was the lead lawyer on that case in defense of the engineer guy. Like, so she's like, this is like, this is where I'm saying where she knows how to rile people up, and she knows how to dig into these random stories and tell it in a very convincing way that it doesn't look good. You know, it doesn't look good. And I'll have to say this about this whole story with the prime minister's wife. Um, this could literally be solved in 3 seconds. Literally, the funny thing about this whole lawsuit is that Candace Owens could lose to the French prime minister in 3 seconds. All they need to do is what's her name? Bridget Macron. All she needs to do is go on Joe Rogan, go on a podcast, right? And just whip it out for the world to see. You know, just, hey Jay, what's going on? I'm talking about Candace Owen being sued by the French Prime Minister. Have you heard this story? Like, it's insane. And I was saying that literally Candace Owens is in a very strange spot. Like, she could lose this case in like 2 seconds. All like the prime minister's wife just needs to go on a like some major. Oh yeah, no, yeah, I said that earlier. I was talking about that. That like that was insane. That was insane. But if you're not up to date, like so Candace Owens, right? And I don't like, you know, she's got interest. Like, I like what she does, where she like puts in a lot of, I guess, research, right? But she's been accusing Bridget Macron of being a man, and she puts all these facts and dates and all these like all this evidence, and it's like hard to refute. Like, we're like, whoa. And I guess the French prime minister has had enough of this, and they're suing her. And I think they were expecting her to cave, because usually what happens when a big time person sues you is that you kind of like, oh, you know, you don't want to. It doesn't seem worth it to battle this out. Just take down the videos or whatever. Well, she decided to stand her ground, and it's. I feel like this is getting more and more crazy, because she's accused. She made a whole video talking about the lawyer that's going to be like battling her, the French attorney general, the French Pam Bondi. Even his well, like, she's saying that he's a man. Like, what was it? Bridget Macron's a man. Like, she's got dates, she's got names. Like, I don't know. It sounds crazy. And they're like, but she's not a man. And yeah, I was saying that literally all she needs to do is go and just take down her pants and show people her thing downstairs, and people can examine it and see if it's a thing or not. But before this, I was talking about have you seen the AI generated Vogue magazine cover? That's a that's a very interesting thing, and I was saying that that that's it for that's it for modeling, and it comes after like I saw, like, what's her name, Heidi Klum is coming back. She's trying to make a new like modeling show, and I was like, oh my gosh, all this is going out. AI is taking all this away. Um, Yesterday, I was watching the case of Macy Lathers. Have you seen this? Is a big story a while back where she is a Instagram model, right? And she like basically was on Pink Tusi, which I'm literally just learning about this because I'm not up, I guess I'm not up to date with uh all the street substances out there. I believe it's like, is it Tusi, right? It's like pink. They call it like pink white powder, you know. And I learned today that it's basically, what is it? It's MDMA cut with ketamine. That's what the pink Tusi is. And I guess she was on that, and she just ran a red light going 80 miles an hour and just took someone out. Like, no, it took two people out. Um, yeah, so I was learning about that, and I was thinking, and I'm trying to tie it back to this AI modeling thing. So she wants to be a Instagram model, like a model, right? And I was thinking, like, her whole life path to becoming a model with this new AI stuff, that whole path is gone. I, I don't know if that's related at all, but that's what I was really thinking about. Where I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Her whole path is gone. Is gone. What? I wonder what the future lies for like, I guess hottie bodies, because I was talking about my cousin that when she was younger in the early 2000s, yeah, early 2000s, her dream was to become a model. And this is before, I mean, Instagram was a thing, but it wasn't a huge thing yet. This is before that, where they still did the old school recruitment style, and that was her dream to become a model. And I was thinking, like, man, even if she got to that stage now, like, I bet you all the girls in modeling, and modeling was already, I thought, was very subjective to begin with. Uh, their whole path is gonna get replaced. The AI generated cover for Vogue is something that's gonna become normal in the future. All right, this one is done. I don't think I've shown you guys this design. This is not that many people order this one. So this one's professional chef, and this one is professional taster. They go together. Boom, boom. Orders out. What else is going on? Oh, I guess we could talk about the shooting that happened in New York last night. Um, that was that's kind of crazy. Right before I was going to go to bed, I just take a look at the news real quick, and I saw the shooting situation in New York, and I just looked into it a little more, and I like that's a crazy situation where like a he had a M, what was it, M15 or M14, whatever, and then he just strolls into the New York building and just starts lighting people up. Um, I saw that so he's 27, he's black, which to be honest, I was shocked that he was black too, because there's this funny clip online right now of the like a news station. Literally, right when this shooting started happening, like it started to break, they already reported him as white. And I don't know. I know I'm sad that the shooting happened, but that is actually hilarious because people are just so used to the shooting these mass shooting situations. Like people are just so used to them being white that the news station, you gotta find the clip. Um, the news station pre I think this is crazy. The news station pre-announced that he was white, or they said like, "Oh, we suspect a white male or something," and I was like, "That's crazy." Like people are so used to it that the news station already pre-did it. Let's see. What do we know about this guy? All I know is that he is 27 years old. He's from Nevada, right? He drove to New York to carry out his plan. He had a note in his pocket that said that the reason why he's doing this, he blames like the NFL. He's got CTE. His brain needs to be studied. That's the Cliff Note version. He was at the place because the what it, he was at the place. Oh, there it is. Because the NFL has a office in that building, so he was looking for the NFL, and this is where I guess it's pretty. I don't know. I find this pretty interesting. Is that so? Just walking through what happened, he drives across the state. He double parks his car. That was I don't know, the news stations made a big point about that. He double parked his car. And I guess in New York, if you double park your car, they tow it like right away. And they were saying that because he double parked his car and left it there, the plan was not to come back because they're gonna tow his car. And so he double parks his car. He walks into the building casually, and then he just starts offloading into the first threat. He basically wanted to make his way to the elevator, and anyone that stopped him was gonna get, you know. And he took out a police officer, or they say off-duty police officer. I believe he's a. They say off-duty police officer, but correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it was more like the police officer was at his second job. Because I think he was a security guard, right? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, he took out that guy and then a few other people in the lobby, made his way to the elevator. I think there's footage of a lady getting out of the elevator. He had a chance to take her out. He didn't. He just wanted to get into the elevator. He got into the elevator, and I have not been to that building. I went to New York when I was a kid. I don't remember much about it, but apparently, the elevators in those type of buildings are pre-programmed where to go. I guess that's a security thing, right? And it took him to the 30 something floor, and he like, which was like a management company, and then he took someone out on that floor. The NFL, and then on the news they were saying that basically what happened is that he went to the wrong floor, and then there's multiple elevators in that place, and the one that he happened to take was like a dead end elevator where you can't change where it goes, or it doesn't go to where he wants it to go. It's like the place is a big maze, and yeah, he got stuck, and then he just took himself out. Um, yeah, that's basically what happened. But the NFL, I guess they're in the fifth floor. He just couldn't get there. I don't know. Let's see, what do we want to say about this situation here? They say that he never made it to the NFL. Like he wasn't in the NFL, but it's interesting that he's blaming the NFL for CTE and all kinds of stuff. That's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming what happened is, see, he's 27. I'm assuming what happened was he played football his whole life. Maybe he made it to a D1 school, maybe, potential draft, you know, and he just couldn't make it, you know? He couldn't get there. And then maybe he tried out a few times from there, and he just doesn't have it. And he played all that football as a kid, took all those hits, because no one ever talks about all the hits the kids take playing football, you know, growing up, and especially as a kid, you don't know. For example, my kid is doing like flips and stuff right now, right? They teach how when you fall, you gotta tuck your head to protect yourself, right? And they're still learning that kind of stuff, and they're not the best at it yet. And you gotta get some muscle memory so they know when you're falling or when you're doing, you gotta make sure to tuck your head so you protect yourself, right? But when you're like a kid starting off football, whatever, the muscle memory is not there. You're not drilled enough yet, and maybe you forget to tuck your head, and bam, you get rocked, right? And then so people don't talk about how much damage kids get on the road up to playing while playing like these heavy contact sports, hockey, football, whatever, right? And then at the professional level, uh, they get CTE there too, but they it's under the assumption that you should know how to protect yourself by then. But when you're a kid, you don't know how to protect yourself from these uh, situations. Like the other day, uh, this parent was telling me about how their kid got a grade 3. Oh my god. When I was talking to you guys, this mosquito tried to get me. Got it. Anyways, their kid plays hockey, and the kid's probably like 10 or so, around 10 years old, and just suffered a grade 3 concussion because it's not even hockey related. The kid was on the ice, right? And another kid was messing around, like an older kid, a lot older, middle school, high school, I'm not sure, was just messing around with his friends, and they were skating around the rink real fast. And the kid that I'm talking about is small, like 10, small, and the high schooler didn't see him, just wham, right into him, and knocked the kid to the floor. Boom, concussion, and blacked out. And now the kid, and then when the kid woke up, lost, I think it was 2 days of memory. Like it's just gone. Like the last 2 days, whatever happened the last 2 days, it's gone. It's a blank spot. And who knows what's long-term damage that one incident's gonna have for that one kid. And now I'm thinking back to this New York shooter situation. Again, I'm under the assumption, this is what I'm thinking would happen, because at least from the early reportings, they have the name, they have where he's from, they have basic background information. From what we have, from what we have, it doesn't seem like he made it to the NFL. I'm assuming what happened is he's one of the kids that played football his whole life and made it to D1 school, felt like he was on the track to make it to the NFL, and just for some whatever reason it is, didn't land, and now he's 27, bitter, took all that damage for nothing, and he wants to take it on the NFL. That's the narrative or story that I'm going with. That makes the most sense to me. Right, that's the story that I'm going with. I don't know. It makes sense. We'll see how the story updates over the next few days. We will see. All right. Last thing, and then we're out of here. We got other work to do. What else is going on in the world? Oh, I know what I saw this morning. This is an update to an older story that we were talking about a while back. The the plane that Trump is getting from Qatar. I guess like it's an official thing. They have it now, and they're looking through it. I guess what's got me curious about this plane thing is that so Trump's got it now. Like it's here now, and they're starting the process of going over it. If you guys don't remember, oh, this was like a few weeks back. I'm trying to remember exactly when was this, which episode of This Is America Now were we in when we heard about the Qatari plane. Well, they're starting the process of examining the plane, and this is the part where I guess not a lot of people were talking about, and I find it kind of interesting. Is that it reportedly? So the plane itself is worth like a several $100 million. I'm in my garage. I don't remember off the top of my head. I remember it was a lot. Hundreds of millions, right? For the plane. And they're saying the Pentagon is projecting that to get this plane ready, they need to, which makes a lot of sense to be honest. They need to actually go through the plane with a fine-tooth comb to check it for bugs and make sure that everything's working properly, because the last thing you would want, and again I'm saying this makes total sense, the last thing you would want is for someone to use the plane and it's filled with bugs and they can get like state secrets and whatnot. But the other thing is, let's say, I mean, I believe it's a Boeing plane, right? And the last thing you would want is a bolt that's mysteriously not tightened all the way. A spring that's a little loose and it's by 1 millimeter here or there. Or maybe a series of bolts that are just not turned all the way, and maybe as you fly it loosens a little bit, and next thing you know, the wing falls off mid-flight and the plane crashes. That's the last thing they would want, right? So they need to actually go through they're gonna deconstruct the plane, look at every nook and cranny, which now I'm thinking about it, that sounds kind of crazy, because one of the mechanic that's working on it, now they don't tighten the screw all the way. They're in the process of deconstructing the plane, which they're estimating is going to cost $1 billion of taxpayer money. So it's everyone's saying like, why wouldn't he take the free plane? Like, what a gift! Multi-millions of hundreds of millions of dollars just gifted, right? This thing does not sound like a gift at all. It sounds like, oh man, this thing didn't cut properly. It doesn't sound like a gift at all. It sounds like you're giving someone a huge rock that they have to carry. You know what I mean? Where you have to spend $1 billion to examine the plane. That doesn't sound like a gift. That sounds like a terrible gift. I don't like, it's $1 billion they need, supposedly it's $1 billion they need to spend to take a look at the plane. That doesn't sound good. To me, I don't know. It sounds like a big waste of taxpayer dollars for a plane, which if you guys have a chance, I remember I made a video about this plane, about this situation a while back. We already have an Air Force One plane that they're working on already. So I'm trying to remember exactly. It's been a while, but if I remember correctly, what is going on with the plane is that Air Force One, the one currently being used, is old. and they are in the process of refitting 2 other planes to be the new Air Force One, right? But there's a period in time where there's like a gap between when the new Air Force One is ready and when this old one that they have right now is like too old. And so there's a gap, and supposedly this plane that Trump got from Qatar is going to bridge that gap. So we're going to use it while the other 2 planes are being refitted, and then once it's done, that's when it goes into Trump's that, you know, there's that whole story that the plane's going to be is donated to Trump's like library or whatever it's called. And then, you know, it doesn't even end up being America's. It's Trump's plane, right? And yeah, so I don't know. That story's not getting. I don't feel like that story's getting covered enough about the Qatari airplane. Like we all just completely forgot about it. But yeah, that memo just came out pretty recently. That they're in the process right now of refitting the airplane, or taking a hard look at it. It's taking forever and screechy noises. All right, I have to recut something because when I cut earlier, it got cut off. All right, good. All right, let's go. What else is going on in the world we can talk about? Aw. Boop. Sorry, forgot something. Nope. Oh, where'd it go? Weird. Then I got the pepper. I got that. I'll just recut the whole thing. Sorry. Gotta come with me to cut some more stuff. Boop. Boop. Okay, done. Done. Sorry, sit down for a second. I gotta line this up, or else it's gonna be funky. Let's see, what else is going on in the world? Okay. Oh, I thought this was interesting. Supposedly, you remember like the LA protests a while back? Supposedly, a bunch of the people that got picked up from the LA protests, they're getting let go. I guess the cases that are being brought against them are falling apart, and a bunch of them are being let go, which is really crazy. I don't know. So you remember like there was like the LA riots a while back, or because of the ICE raids, a bunch of people got picked up. Especially, this is part where I always find very interesting. So the ICE people, they're not allowed to detain American citizens, but if you obstruct them, then they can arrest you. And so with a lot of these cases, with the random people that get taken up that are like citizens, what usually happens is they're trying to arrest somebody, and then someone gets in their way, and then if you just touch them, they're like, oh my god. They kind of do like that would be so funny if they send ICE agents into like the NBA and they teach them how to flop. Oh my gosh. Ice can go so viral by making flopping videos, I feel like, where if somebody touched them, like, oh my gosh, that would blow up like crazy on like YouTube or TikTok or whatever. if if they just make flopping videos, that's genius. Ice, if you're out there and you're listening to this, that's a whole revenue stream that you guys are not tapping into right now. Like body cam flopping videos of ice. So but yeah, so that's basically the rule, that if you touch them, they can say that you're assaulting them, and then that's their justification for arresting you, right? And I guess a lot of these cases of the people that got arrested or from doing that or getting dropped because there's not enough like jurisdiction to prosecute these people, right? And then I don't know, I just think the whole flopping thing is funny. I saw one, it was like an old white lady, and ICE was doing that thing where they were in the courtrooms, like after the immigration hearings, they would go just pick people up, and like, there was this older white lady, and she was like demanding to see like the search warrant and whatnot, and then so she grabbed like the ICE person's arm, and and the ICE person's like, she's assaulting me. And then they arrest her, and she was like a 70-year-old old white lady. And he was like, I felt threatened. I've never been so scared in my life. It was like that scenario when it was like this old frail, like she looked like she was Rose from the Titanic, you know. Like she was this old frail white lady, and she's like, I want to see the warrant. And then she grabbed him on his arm like, I want to see the warrant. And he was like, I'm being assaulted. And then the officers just, they like swarm her, and then they arrest her, and then but they don't like arrest her, they arrest her, and then after a while they're like, dude, you're holding up a 70-year-old old white lady, is not a good look, so they let her go. And then she started doing her press rounds, but I don't know. Anyways, that's how they can arrest you. If you touch them, they could say you're assaulting them, and then bam, you're detained, and next thing you know, you're on a plane to wherever. Like the stories that are coming out, like, what's hard about the stories about the ICE detention stuff is that now that we have like AI and all these fake stories and fake this and fake that, it's hard to know like what is real and what is not. I saw one, it was like the guy is a former Marine, and he was contracted as he's security. He's a okay. The story is he's a disabled retired former Marine, but he's not like old or anything. He's probably like in his 30s, high mid 30s, whatever. And he's contracted as a security guard for a farm. And so a bunch of ICE guys show up to the farm and start like, riling people up. And then he basically goes over and goes, what's going on? And then he's a person with some tan. He's a tan person of Latin descent. And they just round him up as well. And then his family's like, what the hell? Where's my husband? And I guess they held him somewhere for like 2 or 3 days. And this became a big news story because it's like disabled American Marine, ex-Marine, gets swept up by ICE, and it wasn't a good look, and they released him, but still he was missing for like 2 or 3 days. I don't know. That's it's wild. It's wild because I don't know. I see more stories of that than actual like real criminals. Oh, this reminds me. I saw this thing and they said that they reclassified what a gang is, and this could have like lasting lasting impact on future like they could arrest you supposedly anytime as long as they think you're in a gang, and then they reclassify what a gang is. I gotta look this up later when I had a chance because I saw this story and I like got into it, and I don't know, it could be fake, who knows, but I saw that they reclassified what a gang is. It's like if you're in a group picture and you look like you're doing gang activities, you could be considered a gang. And so they were just saying like a group picture where you're just like this, you know, like you could be classified as a gang. And then people were saying like, hey, that means anytime you take a group picture, those guys, whoever's in the group picture, could be classified as a gang. It could be a book club, and then they could say that you're in a gang, and they could arrest your whole book club. And then they make up the names for you. Sometimes like they're like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. They can make up the names for the gang, even though they're like, what are you talking about? What is this book club gang? And they're like, yeah, we saw a picture of you guys holding books, reading and stuff. You look like you're in a gang. And then they're like, what? And then boom, next thing you know, you're booked as the book club gang. I don't know. I'm done with all my stuff. So see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.